A mostly cloudy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. 32 degrees at the airport. It is 32 here at Radio Center. Downtown Midland is at 32. Downtown Bay City's coming in at 30 degrees. I'm Terry Henne, and hopefully your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. And hopefully you had a very nice holiday season, not only Christmas, but also the New Year's opportunity to get together with family and friends and not worry about all the stuff that you got to do for the upcoming new year. But here we are, January the 2nd, and we've got all sorts of things on the burner. We'll try to cover as many of them as we can here over the next couple of days. And then, of course, the meeting season begins in earnest starting next week with the Michigan Agribusiness Association, their annual meeting down in Lansing, and a few other events that are going to be happening in January as well. And we'll be touching on those as we go through our program over the next few days. But first of all, let's take a look at what things are looking and feeling like outside. As I said, the temperature is at 32, but it feels like 20. That's because we do have a southwest wind gusting up to 32 miles per hour right now, this past hour. 30.08 and steady is the barometric pressure. We do have a high pressure system off to the south and the east of us. That's the reason why we have a southwest wind. But we've also got a low pressure system, which is north of Lake Superior. And over the next couple of days, that is going to push a front through. So as a result, we are going to see our temperatures come back down a little bit closer to what's average for this time of the year. If you haven't already heard, the month of December was the second warmest on record here in the Great Lakes Bay area. And for that matter, we did have a lot less precipitation than what we would normally have in the month of December. So looking forward into January, it does appear as though, at least for the time being, we're not looking for much in the way of precipitation at all, other than maybe some frozen stuff as we move into later on tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and then during the day on early morning hours on Thursday before things begin to warm up just a little bit. Our temperatures, projected high temperature today, it won't feel like it, but we will be looking at close to 36 degrees by the time the day is all done. It's going to be a little bit later on this afternoon, and it will need some sunshine in order to hit that 36, 37 degrees. I think we'll see a glimpse of it as we move into the afternoon hours before sunset tonight. And then we're going to see the clouds move back in. There will be some scattered showers, especially in northern Michigan and the west side of the lower peninsula. And then also some freezing drizzle mixed in as well, because our temperatures aren't going to drop much below the freezing mark at all tonight. After a high of about 36, we should drop down to close to 32 with that chance of precipitation. Again, after midnight, but it does appear as though it's going to be in the northern part of the state. Now, moving into the day tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies. We won't be as warm tomorrow as what we will be today. We're going to be looking at some scattered snow showers as a front will be zipping through the state. That's the reason why the thermometer is not going to have a chance to warm up that much after 32 for a low tonight, inching up about 2-3 degrees, and that's going to be it for a high tomorrow. 22 is going to be our low tomorrow night. The reason why, as we said, there is going to be some clearing taking place, especially after midnight tomorrow night. That's going to allow that cold air to settle down into the state. That's why we will be looking at 22, but that's still above average. We should be 19 for a low overnight. And during the day on Thursday, 29 degrees, so we won't even hit 30 for a high. Partly cloudy skies, but because of that cold overnight on Wednesday night, Thursday is not really going to warm up all that much and will actually be a degree below normal as we move into the day on Thursday. Thursday's low after a high of 29 will be 23. Thursday does promise to be a partly to mostly sunny day We are going to have a light northwest breeze, 5 to 7 miles per hour, and that's going to be about it. Then on Thursday night, clear skies. We're looking for a low of about 25, 26 on Thursday night. Then Friday, we'll start off with partly cloudy skies, but then clouds will be moving in later. Middle 30s, 34, 35, 36 in there for a high on Friday. Clouds will be moving in Friday night. It does appear as though Saturday and Sunday, the upcoming weekend, is going to be mostly cloudy with temperatures in the middle 30s for a high, the upper 20s to right around Thursday for a low. Now, there is going to be the chance of some precipitation, snow on Saturday night and early Sunday morning, but right now it doesn't look like it's going to be measurable at all. So the best day for the next several is going to be on Thursday in terms of lack of clouds. Friday, we're going to try to warm up a little bit, but quite frankly, today is about the warmest that it's going to get for the next several days. Moving into the work week next week, starting off on Monday, we are going to be looking at cloud cover, 37, 38 degrees for a high on Monday next week. Average high for this time of the year, we alluded to it, 30 degrees in the afternoon, 19 for a low at night. The record high in this state is 54. That was set back at the turn of the century, 2000, and tied again in 2004. The record low is 5 below zero, set in 1979. Now, a year ago today, our high was 37. Our low was 34. We had no precipitation to report. And really, for the month of January, we already had about 0.2 of an inch of snow. Looking back, the warmest ever for a January the 2nd was set back in 1950. 47 was our high. 41 was our low. The coldest ever January the 2nd, you got to go way back over 100 years, 1920. Our high was 6 and our low was 4 below zero. As far as precipitation goes, 1999, that was the record amount of snowfall on this date. That was set at 6.3 inches. And the most snow we had as far as the beginning of January, that would have been set back in 1999, January 2nd and January the 3rd, the 2 days together. We had more than a foot of snow, 13.2 inches of snow. And again, that was 1999. What are we looking at as far as long range? Well, all the way through the 11th. That'll take us through the first part of the work week next week. We're going to be looking at temperatures averaging above normal, precipitation values to be slightly above. To take us in through that second week of January, we're looking for our temperatures to settle back down to a lot more normal for this time of the year. Precipitation pattern will be slightly above normal. So as we have indicated in the past, we do anticipate a little bit of a turnaround when it comes to these milder temperatures once we hit January the 10th, and we are looking for measurable amount of snow to kick in sometime during the second week here of January, the week of the 8th. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, I've got Abby Terwilliger from the Andersons. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer will be joining us as well. But before we get to all of that, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrient Ag Solutions. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth. Happy New Year to all of you from the folks at Weiss Equipment. And they want to remind you that if you've got a job out there to do on your farm or your backyard or some property up north, and you need a tractor that's going to get the job done, Weiss Equipment will match you up with the job and the farm-all tractor that you need. They can do that because they've got farm-all tractors that range anywhere from 35 to 140 horsepower. And that job can be done with the right farm-all tractor. So that's why they carry a wide variety of farm-all series tractors, from the value-packed farm-all A to the deluxe compact farm-all C and C series with cabs. The tractor does it all, so no matter what you're doing, Can Do comes in red, and it's called Farm-All. From Case IH at Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, doing it right longer. We say good morning to Abby Terwilliger from the Andersons. Abby, good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, Terry. Same to you.
How's everything looking here so far?
Santa's not giving us any late gifts in this market this morning. That is for sure.
Lumps of coal is what you're telling me.
Yes, I guess I have to have a little talk with my farmers and tell them to behave a little better.
So what's causing the markets to do what they're doing now?
From what I've been seeing, I think it's mainly going off the Brazilian, South America weather. They got quite a bit of rain over the weekend. So that's looking mainly, I believe, what has caused the markets to go down so much.
And right now they're talking, obviously, favorable weather conditions. And are they still talking a bumper crop?
I haven't read anything about that today, but I did hear that a few times last week. But then when I mentioned that to farmers, I've been told that they forever have a bumper crop. So it seems to be a history. So we'll see how many times they can cry wolf with it.
That my next question would be, okay, here we are. It's January the 2nd. A lot of farmers have pretty well made decisions what they're going to do before the end of the year, or should they be consulting you folks now?
A lot of them have done, made their decisions on what they wanted to do, mainly due to tax reasons, obviously. But we did just switch to January basis, so corn basis is at 65 under, so that improved a little bit. Now would be a great time to call and at least get an idea, if you don't have an idea, for what you'd like to do.
Yeah, because at this stage of the game, a lot of guys are going to be attending meetings and they're going to be consulting with a lot of different people. So maybe sometimes it's a good idea to talk to as many people as you can, including the folks like yourself, because see if there's very much in agreement, or if there's some things, some opinions that might not agree with everybody else.
Yeah, it's always good to get opinions from every side of it, and especially if you're not super well educated in it, it's always good, to learn the why of what people think. And I know that's what I've been doing the last 6 months here, is someone comes in and says, hey, we want to do this. And I'm like, tell me why, because I need to learn.
Yeah. And a lot of times when they have a chance to talk it through, they come up with their own solution by talking to themselves, to you.
Yes. Yep. No, talking through seems like stuff makes more sense when you say it out loud sometimes, or makes less sense.
Yeah, one or the other. So right now on the board at the Andersons, what do you have?
Right now here in Hemlock, we have $4 for corn, soybeans at $12.19, wheat, red wheat $5.19, white wheat $5.74. For new crop, for 2024 crop, corn we are at $4.32, soybeans $11.53, red wheat $5.68, and white wheat $6.28.
All right, Abby, thank you so much. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay.
Will do. Thank you, Terry.
You bet. Abby Terwilliger over at the Andersons. A little bit more in depth as far as what the markets are doing. Not only the agricultural futures, but also some of the other futures that you have to contend with as you live from day to day. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer joining us right now. The Market Report brought to you by Schaefer and Beerline. Happy New Year to all of you from Schaefer and Beerline. And yeah, they do have a pretty good selection of new Ram trucks. That inventory is there. The heavy-duty 23s, the 1500 24s, they're in. More arriving. So if you're in the market for a new Ram 1500, a heavy-duty pickup truck, a Ram heavy-duty pickup truck, a ProMaster van, or a Ram commercial truck, and you want to buy with confidence from a business-linked dealer that knows what customer satisfaction truly is, now is the time. To see Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth, where family and service sells cars. And by Thumb Bank, serving the needs of agriculture for well over 125. They're working on 150 years. And now they've got 13 locations throughout the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay region to serve you even better. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. Doug Klein, good morning.
Well, good morning.
Well, did you have a chance to sit back and relax and get all excited in these football games?
I didn't watch a bit of that.
You
Yeah.
deal with enough excitement during the week. You don't need
once,
anymore.
Once DraftKings got involved, I thought, too much money pushing people and officials this way and that way. It kind of reminded me of politics in a way. So.
Well, you bring up a really good point. Case in point being that Detroit Lions game, where if you were betting and you were betting, numbers or whatever,
yep.
Your bet depended not on the play, but on the officials.
Yep, covering the spread and all that stuff. And I'm like, no, not going to be there. Not my, nope, nope, just no.
No, it's kind of crazy. So you're not a betting man, but here we are. We're talking about numbers and figures, and all right, what do you think we're going to do? And then they start bombing or trying to bomb or trying to pirate ships again in the Middle East.
Yeah. Well, interest rates are up a little bit. The dollar is, of course, going up with that here. So 102.16 on the dollar. That's not helping us at all. Of course, the commodity's selling off there. The Magnificent Seven selling off pretty hard today. Apple got a pretty strong downgrade from, I think it was Barclays. And so that's got the NASDAQ kind of in a tizzy. They're down about 1.4%. Worst day since October sometime. So that's a thing. And then Bitcoin hit 145,000. That's the highest it's been since I'm going to say April of last year. So that's a thing. Like I said, the market's got 2 days left on the Christmas or the Santa Claus rally. If it's going to pan out, we'll have to see on what happens there. So I guess that's what's going on. Over to your commodities. The March corn is 463.5, down 7 3/4. July corn 487, down 7. March soybeans 1270, down 28. The July soybeans 1283.5, down 29.5. The March wheat is 615.5, down 12.5, and July wheat 634 3/4, down 11 1/4. The crude oil is 70.39, down $1.26. Heating oil is $252.46, down 0.4 of a penny. Gasoline $208.38, down 2 1/4 cents. Probably should put us in the low 270s. We'll see about that. And then natural gas is $236.5. That's up 4 cents. Maybe reacting to some of the weather forecast. Who knows? Over to currencies, Canadian dollar. U.S. dollar buys $1.3311 Canadian. That's up 75 ticks. The dollar buys 141.87 yen. That's up 100 ticks. The euro's at 109.53, down 91 ticks. And the dollar's at 102.17, up 84 ticks. Gold is at $2,074. That's up $2.20. Silver's 24.04, down 4.5 cents. And platinum's at $992.60. That's down $2.40.
All right. You have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Take care. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. Getting ready for that new year, Mr. Farmer? Yeah, as we said before, a lot of meetings coming up, a lot of input that you're going to be getting and listening to. Maybe you should get in contact with Vic Huffer over at Freeland Bean and Grain, because he's got some answers to some questions you might have. Getting ready for little tillage and maybe fertilizer and soil test results. Might be a good idea to talk them over with Vic. Whatever your fertilizer needs may be, Vic can answer some questions for you. They also have Dairyland seed for corn and soybeans and alfalfa, just to name a few. Check them out. Since 1983, they've been serving you. Freeland Bean and Grain, where serving you is their business. Farm Service also brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor. New parts for old tractors made easy. You want to get that tractor ready to go when you need that old tractor to work for you, or you just want to get it looking good, because in 2024, there's a number of shows and festivals you might want to show that tractor off. Well, you can do it. 800-234-3280 or go to steinertractor.com. We say good morning to Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. And Jerry, who would have thunk? It does look like the ground is trying to firm up just a little bit.
Yeah, it is, Terry. It's primed now. Earlier in the season, when it's been 40 and 50 and lows in the 30s, it doesn't go down. But when we've been down in the 30s this long, it's chilled enough that we get this, it's going to go in. So we'll get a little bit hard the next couple of days, I think.
So anything that we should be doing? I'm kind of curious. I did have somebody that asked me over the weekend about pruning. I don't know. Is it too late now?
Oh, gosh, no. This is a dormant period. So anytime between the November and maybe 1st of April, maybe even mid-April, depends on the season, before things start pushing growth, is a great time to prune most anything. The problem you're going to have is you're going to maybe trim off some flowering buds on plants that bloom early in the spring. But that's okay. You're still going to create a better, more healthy plant by trimming. So, this is actually the best time. You can see there's no leaves on the trees. You can see see what structure they have, and it's a little bit easier to figure out what to do and where to cut.
All righty. Good advice. Jerry, take care. Have a good day, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at the Michigan Corn Growers. They want to remind you the 2024 Great Lakes Crop Summit, that's coming up the 24th and the 25th of this month at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Registration before January the 8th, you do get a discount. And you also, if you plan on staying overnight during one of those nights, evenings, might be a really good idea to get a hold of the folks at Soaring Eagle and see if there are rooms still available, or you might want to do some room shopping in the Mount Pleasant area. Whatever works might be a really good idea. Mark it down on your calendar. This is the 10th anniversary of the Great Lakes Crop Summit. Promises to be another good one. Brought to you by the folks at the Michigan Corn Growers Association, along with the soybean folks and the corn growers and the wheat growers as well. Along with me, Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Craig, let's talk a little bit about cleanup.
Right, Terry, good morning. I've been getting a few questions about that lately when working with folks and trying to decide how much insurance they want to put on their maintenance buildings or their pole barns and stuff. That question has come up, and the cleanup cost does come out of the value you put on the building. Now, several insurance companies do give you a little bit extra for what they call debris removal, but ultimately it still comes out of that building number. So when you're trying to decide how much coverage to put on your building, factor in a little extra for that cleanup. That we don't want you to come up short when it comes time to rebuild. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and as far as the cleanup goes, Craig, a lot of times you can't do it yourself, can you?
No, you can't. A lot of folks think they will, but we don't get to control when the disaster hits. And if it's in a busy time of the year, specifically planting or harvesting, you're probably not going to take the time to do it yourself. So plan ahead, and hopefully you never have to use it, but it's a good idea to keep that in mind.
All righty. Craig Voorhees, always good to talk. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Terry.
Oh, you bet. Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Kryjak's House Family Restaurant. You got to supply the food for an event coming up. Thinking about Fat Tuesday. That's coming up a little bit earlier this year. Kryjak's House, 989-894-5531. That's the number. They're also a great place to dine in. Corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City's south side. We say good morning to Steve Anderson over at Baird & Company. Steve, what's going on in New York today?
Well, the markets are mixed over here today. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average ahead by 57 points, putting it at 37,746. Volume of 310 million shares. The NASDAQ, however, is down by 191 at 14,819. Volume there, 458 million shares. Stocks of local interest have much of a higher bias. We've got Caterpillar at 294.16, down 145. Deere 403.31, up 346. CMS 58.97, up 90. Dow is 55.36, up 52. DuPont 77.36, up 43. Corteva 48.46, up 54. General Motors 36.40, up 48. Trinzio 8.33, down 4. Walmart 159.45, up 180. Huntington Banks is 12.90, up 19. Independent Bank is 26.15, up 13, and AT&T is ahead by 40 at 17.17. So it's quite possible that what you have does not look like what part of the rest of the market's doing.
There you go. Steve Anderson, you take care, all right?
Thank you, and a Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. We now conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem.